Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? It's B Militant. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host here on the Redskins review. And you guys, first things first, if you are a Dallas Cowboys fan, congratulations to you. You guys were the better team today. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Enjoy your win. No excuses. All week long, we said next man up mentality. We had a lot of injuries. But like I said, no excuses. All week long, we were saying next man up. But unfortunately, next man up wasn't enough for us to get the win today. Now, there's a lot of good and bad that we're going to get into. But the first things first is this. We came into this game thinking this is going to be the Redskins-Cowboys rivalry that we've been looking for. And we knew that this was going to be a dogfight coming into the game. But the thing is, I would say if you were either a Cowboys or Washington fan, I don't think anyone would have seen it play out sort of like this. I know this is like family business and you can never count each team out, but I don't think either side would have seen the game kind of unfold the way that it did. Also, we'll get into this later, but the referees, I'm sure, like I said, yet again, if you're a Dallas or Washington fan, I'm sure both sides are probably like, the referees were too much in this game. Yeah, these guys are it's a heated rivalry, but you got to let these guys play, and I feel like the referees were in the game a little too much. Not saying I'm not going to sit here and complain about all the calls or whatever. I'm just saying the refs were in the game in too much. And as an NFL fan, you want to see the teams battle it out. You don't want to see the referees in the game like that. But let's get into it. This game was pretty much single-handedly won by the Cowboys. Offensive and defensive lines were just flat out better. They dictated what happened. Excuse me. They from the very get-go, from the very first drive of the game, when the Cowboys had the ball, Washington, we are used to when the other team is trying to run the ball, they're getting 2, maybe 3 yards running the ball. First drive, the Dallas Cowboys, Zeke Elliott's getting 4, 5 a pop. And right then and there, I knew this doesn't look good. This is not normal. This is not normal us. This is not... we normally shut the run down and say, hey, you have to beat us passing. Early in the game, I could tell right away from the first drive, I was like, this doesn't look normal to me. This isn't normal. They're getting first run. Zeke Elliott's getting 5 yards right away. Not normal to me. I don't like that. And then sure enough, the game didn't go the way that we wanted. But that's literally, there's a lot of things you could point. You could point in this game, Antonio Gibson fumble, DeAndre Carter not catching that pass at the end. I feel like this was the game where we had the most drops all year. We dropped so many passes in this game. Has to be the game where we dropped the most passes all year. Dropped interceptions. And let's get it clear, in this game, Taylor Heinicke wasn't good. And also Dak Prescott wasn't good. Dak Prescott was... both Taylor Heinicke and Dak Prescott were just throwing balls into coverage. They both were. They just both were doing it. And unfortunately for both guys, a lot of them weren't picked off, but both guys did not look good. From this, Dak Prescott ended up with 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, rating of like 56. He didn't play well either. Like I said, in this game, the difference was the Cowboys' offensive and defensive lines. Taylor Heinicke had to run all day. He as soon as he got the ball, they're on him. And as you can see, I know there's going to be a lot of people saying, saying bad stuff about Taylor Heinicke. What happened? How did the game end? Kyle Allen was, yet again, I don't think he fumbled that ball. I do not think that was a fumble. But, yet again, what I'm trying to prove here is, I know people are going to say, oh, this was a bad game for Taylor. Hell yeah, it was a bad game. But it was a bad game for the offensive and defensive lines, is what I'm trying to point out. Taylor Heinicke was running for his life all day. Look at how the game ended. Fumble by Kyle Allen because he's getting sacked right away. The offensive and defensive lines were terrible in this game, and that's why we lost, in my opinion. Now, like I said, there's so many, being down 24-0, if only we had somebody on this team that has had a 24-0 comeback, maybe we could have won this game. Just saying, just throwing that out there too. But we don't have that person. So, but just to continue on, that's just a little jab I'm taking here. But this game, like we had being down 24 to nothing, there I have it in my notes. There's points where I did feel like the defense kind of was quitting. They didn't ultimately quit. As you can see, we almost made a comeback there at the end. But in my notes, there's just times where you could see that when the Cowboys offense was moving the ball, it just seemed like our defense at times was taking breaks and stuff. Like there's a couple of runs, but there's one by CeeDee Lamb where he catches the ball and he's running on the sideline and like he's tiptoeing, and there's a defender right there who could have just knocked him out before the first down, but he lets him keep tiptoeing for a first down. It's like, excuse me? You could hit this guy. He's inbounds. Hit him. Get him out of bounds. And the guy just holds up and watches him walk tiptoe for a first down. It's like, I just feel like there was so much miscommunication on the defense to begin the game. And that's what happened. The Cowboys came out and punched us in the mouth. And it wasn't until the second half where our offensive line actually started to get in a little bit of a groove. And that's when Taylor and the offense then went down and got the first touchdown. Amazing catch by Cam Sims. I'm not the hugest Cam Sims fan, but when we don't have huge red zone targets, now you see the benefit of having a big red zone target, like a tall guy like that. And I wanted to see, there's just so much, like, there's so much more I wanted to see. We abandoned the run, pretty much. And don't get me wrong, you know, when we're down 2 scores, yeah, I understand you're going to be more pass heavy, but I just feel like even in the second half when we came out, and sure, we're down 24-0 or whatever, we didn't even attempt to run the ball. Like, we didn't even hey, you know what? We need to make sure that we can't rip off 8 with Antonio Gibson when we need it. Like, we didn't even try. We just came out and just started passing. And yet again, as you guys know, we found our identity in the last couple weeks. We're not that team. We're not built for that type of. We need to stick with the run. We need to, and they were saying this in the game. How many times were we in 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10? How many times? Almost every third down where it's 3rd and 10, it seemed. That's why we needed to stick with the run, and I feel like we got away from it. But regardless, whatever, I'm proud at how the team didn't quit. I'm proud at how the team stuck around. We have so many injuries. Yet again, not an excuse. But before we were going into this game, I've seen so many Cowboys fans saying, oh, we're getting this guy back. We're getting this guy back on the defensive line. We're getting this guy back. And they were real jazzed up about it. And guess what? That was the difference. They were right. They were really excited about getting these guys back on their defensive line, and they destroyed the game. The defensive line for the Cowboys pretty much won the game. Literally, if you had to say who won, not Dak Prescott, not Zeke Elliott, not any of their receivers, not even Parsons, not even him. But he's part of it, yeah, because he rushed a lot, but not even him. It was just the line. The defensive line was murdering us all game. It wasn't until the second half where we started to get in a groove, because in the second half of the game, either they were rotating guys out more or whatever, or they got tired or whatever. Then we started to have it didn't seem like we had any groove, or our offense didn't look anything like it was until the second half, like late in the third quarter. So if we would have started off better, and it's a bunch of ifs. We can't sit here and just keep saying a bunch of ifs, but this wasn't the team that we're used to. And yet again, we could sit here and say, oh, the momentum in the game, when we scored that touchdown and we went up, it was 24-8, and it's like, uh-oh, only like a 2-score game here, and then we stop them or whatever, we get the ball back, and then right away at the most costly time, Antonio Gibson is going to fumble the ball. You're running, there's 2 defenders you're running into. Hold on to you're going to get tackled. There's 2 guys right in front of you. Hold on to the ball. Why is the ball loose? Why do you have it with one hand? There's 2 guys. You're not going to, I understand if it's like one guy and you're going to try to make him. There's 2 guys standing right in front of you. 2 guys are tackling you. Hold on to the ball with 2 hands. Like, that's insane to me. That's insane to me. But for what it's worth, Jarrett Patterson, I feel like he looked pretty good when he came in. Also, that running back who I don't even know who it was, Williams, he looked pretty good. But even in my notes I wrote, he looks good, but that's when it seemed like the game was over. And who knows, maybe the Cowboys were taking it lightly. I don't know. They thought the game's over and they weren't going to, press the issue and try to fight that hard. But still, that running back, Williams, he looked pretty good for what it's worth. Adam Humphrey started the game good, and then yet again he started becoming part of the drop problem. And this is what I also have in my notes. We don't have receivers that win contested catches, and that's what I've been saying for a really long time. Obviously, Terry McLaurin does. He's like our only guy who does. And also, credit to Cam Sims. I'm not the biggest Cam Sims guy, but he won that contested catch, got us that touchdown. Hats off to him. He had a pretty good game. In a game where not a lot of people had a good game. Cole Holcomb never gave up, got that pick 6 at the end. Love Cole Holcomb. You know, we know who that guy is. You know what I mean? That's who he is. He's a dog. He's not going to be one to give up. Jonathan Allen had a sack. I thought Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne were going to be, and Matt Ioannidis and Tim Settle. I thought they were going to be a little bit more influential in the game. But when we have backup on backup on backup on backup defensive ends in the game, they pretty much, I feel like they were probably more double teaming our guys in the middle and not even worried about the guys on the outside. We didn't have many sacks in the game. Taylor Heinicke was sacked 4 times, harassed, hurt, injured. Our center our center got hurt, got carted off, and that's what I was saying. And you know, if you watch the channel, the last couple weeks I've been coming up here and saying, yes, praise this offensive line. They've been doing better than expected with how many injuries we have. But by the way, when I went to the Seahawks game, I don't know if you guys seen it or didn't seem like a lot of people were talking about it, and people were still praising the crap out of our offensive line. When I was at the Seahawks game, every time Taylor snapped the ball, pressure right away in his face. Our offensive line's getting pushed right into him. And every snap, I was holding my breath. What's Taylor going to do? Taylor, you got to run. You got to run with the ball. And I'm glad that Taylor did run with the ball on that 1 2-point conversion, because as soon as everyone's watching, they're like, there's nothing there, dude. You got to do something. And he didn't hesitate. He knew what he needed to do, went and did it. And also at halftime in this game, I was flirting with the idea at halftime when we're down 24-0. Taylor already is getting worked on his arm and stuff on the sideline. I'm sitting here flirting with the idea, put Kyle Allen in. We need the next few games more than we need this game right here. Yes, this game is big. Yes, we needed this game. We need every game, but we're down 24-0. We need Taylor Heinicke. He's the starter. I'm not saying put Kyle Allen in because he's better. I'm saying their defensive line is getting after our quarterback, and we need Taylor Heinicke for these next games. This game ain't looking good, so I was flirting with the idea of just put Allen in. He's bigger, and he can maybe, you know, he's pretty mobile too. Obviously he's not as mobile as Taylor Heinicke probably, but even like I said, even at the end of the game, how did the game end? By a fumble of him getting sacked because he's just pressure in his face right away. Like I said, this game was won by in the trenches. And also, you know, it sucks in a loss like this because then people start playing the blame game. How about Montez Sweat? I'm the biggest Montez Sweat fan, but you're gonna get you're gonna get injured and then be at home and being who knows what to go out and get COVID. I don't give a shit what you do. I don't care what you think about COVID. Just don't get COVID when you're about to come back and play in the biggest game of the season versus the Dallas Cowboys. And then guess what? Like we're so injured, and you have the chance to come back and really help us out. And then this is the worst timing for that to happen. That's all I'm saying. That's ridiculous. And then during this week, I actually felt good about this game. I knew no team was going to blow each other out. I knew that. I knew it was going to be a close game. I didn't, like I said, at the very beginning of this video, I didn't see the game going this way. I didn't see 24-0 and then us making a comeback. I didn't see that happening, but I knew it was going to be a close game either way. And then leading into this game, I was pretty confident that we would at least play well. And then we get closer to the game, and you seen me post a lot, and I said, oh, hey, look, if we get J.D. McKissick, I feel really good about the game. If we get J.D. McKissick back, I feel really good about this game, actually. He didn't get to play. More people got on a COVID list just a day or two before the game. Like, it was a huge blow right before the game. Like, you know, we have all this build-up and all fans on both sides, you know, Dallas Cowboys fans, Washington fans, we're you know we're doing what we're supposed to do. We're hyping this game up, and then right before the game happens, we take huge blows. So, like we lose. You know, they lost Pollard, and that's a huge blow to them too. I can only imagine if he was in the game, how much impact he would have had. You know, granted, but we lost a lot of people. Like even the day before, more people were being put on the COVID list and taken out of the game. We're on like backup on backup on backup. But regardless, our philosophy has always been next man up. And yes, you got to be proud of how they fought and everything. Even next man up, Kyle Allen came into the game, didn't play bad. Even in my notes, like I said, I believe in Kyle Allen. Maybe not as much as I like Taylor Heinicke, but I still believe in Kyle Allen. He can run this offense. He could have very easily came in and won this game for us. Now, granted, like I said, the offensive line and the most crucial of times, and also DeAndre Carter in the most crucial of times needed that catch where Kyle Allen put it perfectly to him. We didn't come up with the game. We were flat to start the game. And then when we started getting things rolling, we were still just not on top of our game. Terry McLaurin sucks he got hurt. Looks like he has a concussion. That's bad because he's not going to be able to play next week versus Eagles, which we really need that game. That's the game we need. I mean, all these games we need, but we need the Eagles game probably even more so than we needed this game. Because that's our second option. Now we're trying to get into the playoffs in a wild card spot. We need to beat the Eagles. And now it's looking like Terry McLaurin might not play because he has a concussion, it seems. But also, he should have caught that fucking football. How about that? Star players, like they said at the beginning, star players show up in games like this. And then also they caveated the Cowboys have star players all over the place, whatever. Regardless, our star player, Terry McLaurin, hope he's okay. You know, really do. I hope he's okay and everything, but you got to catch that fucking football, bro. Like that. These are the. If I'm gonna sit here and say, oh, the defense dropped these interceptions or this, you got to bring up that too. Terry McLaurin. He had a bad fall. I have to go back and watch the replay again to see exactly how he got so out of place to fall on his head like that. That fucking sucks. I really hope he's okay, but still. That was a catchable ball, is all I'm going to start. I'm just throw that out there. That was a catchable ball. That would have been a huge change in the game. Now I'm going to just shut my trap on that, and let's just get into these notes real quick. Well, first, Dak Prescott, 211 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, sacked 4 times, rating of a 58.8. Taylor Heinicke, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 122 yards, 4 sacks, almost the same rating, 55.8. So, like I said, yet again, in this game, it was both quarterbacks are bad, and I didn't really look at Kyle Allen, but yet again, they had very kind of similar numbers there. Both quarterbacks were bad, but the difference was the rest of the team and the defensive line for the Cowboys murdered us, straight up. They won. They wanted to win more. They won. So Landon Collins, at the very beginning of the game, there was a pass play, and Landon Collins sucked all the way up, like worried about Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott. It's like, bro, no one's afraid of Zeke. Why are you going with him and not the receiver? Give him a really easy first down. Fuller drops an interception. Ridiculous. Our defense just doesn't seem to be on the same page early in the game. Defense holds them to 3. The ball's looking wobbly coming off of Taylor's hand early in the game. False start is probably going to kill our drive. Also, I just need to throw this out here because I just remembered it. The pass interference call on William Jackson was fucking ridiculous. That's one of the worst fucking calls I've seen all fucking year. But go all the way back to the preseason, and what did I say? I already picked up on this. I already knew this. For some reason, William Jackson the third, he's just a penalty magnet. I don't know what it is. They just want to throw penalties. They just want to throw flags on him. I don't know what it is. I said that since I noticed that in preseason. I was like, wow, this guy, at least once a game, he's getting these big penalties. But that was a horseshit call. That was ridiculous. He had no impact on him catching that football, and he just didn't catch it. Jesus, that's insane to me. False start's probably going to kill our drive on our first drive. Diami Brown just falls on the ground for no reason. David Mayo with a great tackle on the punt. Seems the best way was hit. Landon Collins with an interception. Randy Gregory tips the ball up. And yet again, the good and the bad comes with Taylor Heinicke. It seems like I've never seen this many balls get tipped up in the air and then intercepted, coming from a quarterback. Is it because of his height? You got to think so. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I'm the biggest Taylor Heinicke fan, but it is what it is. I haven't seen a quarterback in recent memory, at least here, that's been having so many balls just tipped and then picked. Like, that's, the bad comes with the good, Dallas O-line and D-line are winning. Offsides on third down. We're killing ourselves. And that's the other thing. Dallas came into the game with the most penalties in the league. And then we were the ones that seemed like we were just shooting ourselves in the foot with penalties over and over and over. As much as I even think that they were babying the Dallas Cowboys, the refs were with calls and everything like that, we were still just shooting. That's not who we've been. We're pretty good with penalties, and we've been killing ourselves with penalties in this game yet again. Just not playing mistake-free football and cost us the game. Refs keep stopping the game for no reason. This is a flag fest. Insane catch by Humphreys. Fourth down, Taylor gets killed, sacked, fumbled, and they return it for a touchdown. It's 18-0. A lot of the time left though. I did write that. It's right there. I don't know if you can see it, but I wrote there's a lot of time left. I've seen crazier shit happen in football games. Kyle Allen is in. I trust him. I wrote that. Parsons, another another sack. This defense looks really bad. They are blitzing Taylor every play, and none of our receivers are winning to help him out so we can get quick passes. William Jackson gets a BS pass interference call. I just went over that. We drop another pick. Heinicke and Dak are just throwing the balls up in the middle of the field just to nobody. Dallas receivers are just wide open, letting them just walk down this field, and they literally let Dak run for a first down instead of pushing him out. Oh, it was Dak Prescott, the one I was talking about. And then I wrote, it seems like people quit. Allen gets a sack, and we let them march down the field. And this is insane to me too. This is not characteristic like us. This is crazy to me. In the very end of the first half, it was 21-0, and they get the ball back with like 2 minutes left, and we let them just march down the field. And this is where I was saying I feel like people quit at a point in the game. Ultimately, the team didn't quit because you see how the game ended and where we were. But it just seemed to me at the end of the first half, it's 21-0, and they just let them march down and get an easy field goal. That to me, that's yet again, that's a huge part of the game, and we just let them do it. The speed of the game seems to be giving our entire team trouble. No one on our team looked ready, and no one had like a second game plan for when things didn't go our way. Seals Jones just dropped the first pass of the second half. Good way to get us in momentum there in the second half, by dropping passes. Humphreys is the only receiver making plays. McLaurin drops a deep pass. Cam Sims with a crazy touchdown. Taylor pylon leap for this 2-point conversion. Now the offense scored, and the defense is letting the Cowboys just run the ball easily. Defense holds. They sack Dak and get the ball back to our offense, and right away Gibson fumbles the ball. Wow. Defense holds them 3, but now it's a 3-score game again. Taylor is just always under pressure. Sacked again. Cam Curl is having a good game. Heinicke is sacked, and he seems hurt. Heinicke gets up, and Tyler Lawson was carted off. And that's basically insult to injury here. We lost the game. We lost a lot of players. We were already hurt, and we lost a lot of players. Our receivers just don't win contested catches. The run back Williams looks good. Cole Holcomb with the pick 6. Our extra point is blocked. Our extra point was blocked. What? It was like everything that could go wrong in this game went wrong, and we still found a way to almost come back. Like, that's insane to me. How many extra points? I've never been watching a team like this where just extra points are blocked that often. What is going on? Like, that was going to be a real, like, momentum getter for us and we get the touchdown. All we need is 1 point, and then it's a 6-point game, and then they're like, wow, we're in trouble. But then they block a field goal, extra point, and then it's kind of like, oh, we're cool. It's a 7-point game. We're all right. Like, that's a huge play in the game. And it's just like, that's how this game went. That's insane. The defense holds. Carter with a bad drop. Clearly a pass. I still can't get over that, how the game ended on that. Yes, Kyle Allen is getting tackled. He's getting sacked. But his just momentum is throwing the ball. It's fucking on his fingers, flopping off of his fingers. He's throwing it. He's not, he didn't his hand go forward and the ball drops next to him because the ball wasn't in his hand. The ball went fucking forward. His hand went forward. It was on his fingertips and the ball it didn't go sideways. It didn't drop on the ground. It's not like it wasn't his hand. His hand was fucking moving forward. That's insane to me that's how the game ends. That's crazy. Like, I don't see what, and then they go to the rules expert or whatever, and he's like, yeah, I don't see how they overturn this. What? I understand it wasn't like he was gripping the football, but it's coming, he's throwing the ball, and you can see the ball coming off of his fingers like he's throwing it. How is that a fumble? That's crazy. That's just, whatever. But, and how I should have started this video off is how I end it. Totally forget about this game. This game didn't happen. We need to move on to next week. That's what really matters. We have a chance to get into the playoffs. We have to forget this shit. Forget the entire season ever happened. We need to play game by game right now and beat people like the Eagles. We need to beat them next week. And then all of this shit, it still matters, but it doesn't matter as much as you think it matters right now. As upset as people are as fans that we lost to Dallas and how the game went, how it went, or whatever, don't let it get to you. And that's how I should have started this video off. This is irrelevant right now. Forget it happened. Move on. We need to try to get people back healthy. I think we might be getting some people back. And we got to figure out what other injuries we got. But we need to get people back. Hopefully Taylor Heinicke is cool and he can play next week. I think Taylor Heinicke can really do some damage on the Eagles, to be honest. Take nothing away from the Dallas Cowboys. They seem like a pretty good team today. I mean, don't get me wrong. They had ups and downs and almost let us come back or whatever. But they got some solid players over there, man. And I don't think the Eagles are that good. They're not as good as the Cowboys. They're not as good as what we've seen today in the Cowboys. We can beat them. But I want to see Taylor Heinicke out there. So I'll leave it to that. This video is getting long. Let me know what you guys think about the game. Can we win next week? Let me know. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.